1 year and 2 months after the collapse incident, the business center finally rose, collectively gathering the interest of the citizens of Tucson. After putting Mason behind bars, the project carried on as planned, and those senior executives who showed me disdain retreated with their tails tucked. At one point, I thought those cunning old men were behind Mason's crimes, but I found out later that Arthur had shown his full support to me. It's strange. I hadn't expected I'd get his approval so soon. Earth to Natalie. Kelsey's melodious voice passes my ear, jolting me in surprise. She eyes me playfully as she sips from her goblet. She looks beautiful in her black velvet halter dress that outlines her curves, exposing her healthy bosom and striking collarbones. Her dark brown hair is styled into a side bun adorned with tiny rhinestones that glimmer under the lights. If I were a man, I'd be falling all over her. What's with that stare? She questions. I'd marry you if I could. You know that, right? I say in between soft chuckles. We're at the handover banquet, and all the influential people in business and politics in Tucson are here to celebrate with us. Prospect investors and business partners of Quinn Industries and Lewis Corporation are present as well. In addition, Arthur hired a few celebrities to appear to stir publicity for the celebration. Apologies, my friend. I am very straight. I click my tongue and fake a glare. Besides, it's hard to compete with a man like yours. If you may excuse me, Kelsey whispers as her eyes squint in one direction. Pivoting, I see Derek approaching with William in tow. He looks especially attractive in his black tux with a dark gray vest that accentuates his gray eyes. His dark hair is styled into a textured brush-up, giving a strong authoritative vibe that complements his sharp features. His jaw is clenched as he scans me from head to toe, then back up, sending chills of anticipation down my spine. I bite my lips, feeling as though my heart is stuck in my throat. When our eyes lock, I break into a smile, seeing the longing in his. You're here, I chirp when he stops to stand next to me. Of course, I wouldn't miss this for anything, he breathes, his hands slithering around my waist. His magnetic voice is low and hoarse. Not when you're dressed like this. He raises his brow, feeling scorched by his touch. I nonchalantly sip champagne from my goblet to feign calmness. I'm glad you made it in time, I mumble impassively. He just arrived from a business trip in New York. Derek chuckles, pulling me closer to his side. I shiver, feeling pathetic for still getting chills from him, like the first time we touched. We've been intimate for quite some time now, but instead of fading, my emotions and responses have only grown stronger. You look beautiful in that dress, he murmurs, lowering his head so that his lips graze the tip of my ear. His voice is gentle and almost sounds like a moan, giving me goosebumps. Thanks. I look away with my cheeks burning. I'm wearing a beige, lacy, longsleeved, body-hugging, mermaid-cut, turtleneck dress. The front is considerably conservative, fully covering my chest, but from behind, my back is heavily exposed with the large, inverted triangle cut, making my bare skin easily accessible to his touch. It's a dress he picked out for me. Blinking frantically, I shoot Derek a warning glare when I feel his fingers tracing the arch of my back, sending tingles throughout my body. I purse my lips against the excitement flooding through me. Oh, how I missed his touch. Let's get out of here. Quickly, Derek takes a glass of champagne from the waiter passing by. He grabs a spoon from the high table and taps it a few times against the goblet, gathering the attention of the crowd. As if on cue, the loud music stops, and the invited media personnel aim their cameras in our direction. Derek squeezes my waist reassuringly, my grip on my glass tightening when cameras start flashing one after another. Taking his usual stern expression, he sweeps the crowd with a serious glance. I'd like to make a toast to Natalie for the success of this project. She's consistently displayed exemplary competency and professionalism, always exceeding requirements and expectations. She's proven extraordinary leadership abilities, commitment, reliability, and foresight. It is my honor to announce that from this day forward, Natalie Quinn, heir of Benedict Quinn, will be leading Quinn Industries. Wide-eyed, I glance at Derek in surprise. I hadn't been expecting him to step down so soon. Besides, I don't think I have enough experience to handle the company. Not yet. Does that mean Ms. Quinn will be sitting as the CEO? Did the senior members of the company agree to this? Does this mean you are relinquishing your control over Quinn Industries, Mr. Lewis? Through the bombing of questions, I feel Derek's hand holding mine, and he slowly leads it closer to his mouth. Agape, his lips brush the back of my hand, searing a sense of security and prickling warmth throughout my being. My senses are in overdrive as the noise of the commotion coming from the reporters and the flashing lights are drowned out by the loud beating of my heart. I open my mouth to say something, but the words are left hanging at the tip of my tongue when he pulls me in and plants a kiss on my forehead. I swallow, then close my eyes, unable to comprehend what is going on or what he's thinking. All I know is that I feel safe with him. You trust me, right? He asks, tilting my chin so that our eyes lock. I open my eyes and meet his gaze. There's an intense eagerness in his gray orbs, as if he will break if I don't say yes. His expression is one of pleading, but the smile on his lips emits confidence. I hum an affirmation. It is not forced, because I really do trust him, with my mind, body, and soul. Where Quinn goes, Lewis follows, Derek affirms meaningfully before raising his glass. To Natalie, he exclaims with pride. To Natalie, scanning the crowd, I watch the senior members of the board as they clap their hands and smile. Kelsey, standing next to her father, follows suit until the hall is filled with loud applause. Influential people come one after another to congratulate me, and all throughout, Derek's hand is glued around my waist, as if he's scared someone might take me away. On the other hand, it serves as a deterrent to the men who express their admiration and lecherous thoughts with their stares. It takes an hour and a half before Derek can excuse us, and leads me out to the garden courtyard of the hotel. He looks extremely pissed. What's wrong? I ask curiously. We are at a dimly lit pavilion away from the crowded ballroom. The scent of the flowers on the evening breeze is refreshing, calming my nerves. The event unfolded like a storm and, as much as I tried to keep my composure, I still felt flustered at the announcement. Nothing. His voice is low and breathy. I watch him lean his back against the railing, his features softened under the dull illumination of the fairy lights. The moonlight shines on his handsome face, making him look like a god that descended from the heavens. He is breathtaking. Crossing my arms on my chest, I study the frown on his face. I smirk playfully. I was wrong about you, I mutter softly. Inching closer to him, I press my body against his. With the help of my high heels, I look up and open my mouth, enough to graze his jawline. Then, I breathe heavily against his neck. He grunts as he wraps a hand around my waist, the other squeezing my butt. About what? He asks huskily. I take back what I said. You are quite romantic. I tug the body on his collar, pulling his face closer to my reach. Sluggishly, I trace his lips with a finger and then nibble his chin, feeling his muscles tense. I bite his lower lip teasingly as he slips his hand beneath the edge of the triangular cut in the back of my dress. Where Quinn goes, Lewis follows. I breathe against his mouth, mimicking him. What about it? With a swift move, he twirls me around and pushes me a few steps to the side so that my back rests against a large, round column. His free hand slips under the slit of my dress, his fingers wandering up and down the length of my thigh. Challenged, I squint my eyes and raise and crook my leg to pull him closer. I wrap a hand around his neck and sear his mouth with a provocative kiss. I squirm against his body, deliberately rubbing my belly against the bulge in his pants. When he groans in anticipation, I push him a little. What a sophisticated way to declare ownership, he snorts. I don't remember signing any kind of deed, though. Derek cocks a brow and shoots me a warning glance, his hand sliding between my legs. He smirks coyly, making heat shoot up my cheeks. Naughty, he remarks, softly biting the tip of my ear. His fingers gently caress my sensitive folds. The fabric is so delicate, it wouldn't look right if I had something on. I explain. Is it? He teases. I hum, linking my arms tightly around his neck, rubbing my chest against his, while my hips rotate in anticipation, creating friction against his long and slender fingers. It wasn't a mistake picking this dress, huh? I whimper in anticipation, but Derek abruptly gathers back his hands as if he's suddenly scared of getting burned. I scold at him while his mouth curls into a sexy grin. Before I can spit another word, he grasps my hand and leads the way across the garden, heading straight to the exit, ditching the party. His strides are long and quick, and I scamper to keep up. I'm panting lightly when I find myself tucked behind the seatbelt in the familiar passenger seat of his Maybach. Derek shoots me a lustful gaze before letting the engine roar as he speeds back to the villa. It takes a while for my pulse to relax as my eyes relish the lovely nightscape. When the car pulls into the driveway, I quickly get out and strut inside the house, surprised by the quiet. It's almost midnight. Of course, Mrs. Whittle and Mrs. Lint have gone to bed. Were you expecting someone to save you? Derek's husky voice thunders across the open living room. Rotating, I find his towering figure leaning against the newel at the foot of the staircase. Speechless, I roll my eyes and climb the steps nervously while making a mental note not to tease and provoke him ever again. Before my thoughts can settle down, Derek scoops me in a swoop and carries me with a single arm. Hungrily, he sears my mouth with a penetrating kiss as he marches across the halls. With his tongue dancing in rhythm with mine, I feel my stomach twisting into a knot, making it harder to breathe. His scent fills my senses, overwhelming me with euphoria. God, I missed you. I whisper against his mouth when he breaks away to give me space. He responds with a grin, encouraged. I nibble his jaw and then softly bite the exposed length of his neck, earning a loud groan of satisfaction. I hear a door behind me make a creaking sound as his free hand removes the hook that holds my dress in place. Swiftly, he presses me against the wall with the cloth falling to the floor, revealing my naked body. "That was easy," he mumbles, kissing the tip of my nose with an eyebrow raised. My cheeks heat up. His burning gaze makes me shiver like a cornered bunny, as his eyes feast on my body. The longer he looks, the hotter I feel. It's insane. Feeling shy, I choke and shake my head. Embarrassed, I pivot only to realize that we are inside my room. It's dark, but the moonlight emanating through space from the French doors creates a mysterious atmosphere, the white curtains swaying in the evening breeze. Derek spins me around and lightly pushes me to the edge of the bed. Unceremoniously, he strips off his clothes as he stands a foot away from me. My eyes focus on his flexing muscles as I gulp like a thirsty badger, analyzing and admiring every part of his lean body. With a soft thud from his belt, his arousal is exposed. He is so big. This isn't the first time we've seen each other nude, but I still can't get used to it. Though hot, I shiver at his touch as he grasps my arm and leads it to his WELLDFINED six-pack, encouraging me to touch him. "Touch me," he orders. I meet his gaze, his eyes burning with passion and lust as he watches me expectantly, his Adam's apple bobbing in his throat. If it wasn't for his assertive tone, I'd take it as begging. He pants as my fingers move around, tracing every inch and corner of his sculpted body. Then, I wrap my palm firmly around his arousal, making him grunt. "Like this," I tease. Cautiously, I plant a soft kiss on the tip of his cock as I cup his balls with my free hand. When he groans, I feel extremely pleased. Then I get up and gather my strength, placing my hands on his shoulders. I spin him around so that my whole weight rests on his large body. When we land on the bed with him under me, I'm satisfied. "You've been learning quite a lot of new tricks, Miss Quinn," he comments hoarsely. I giggle. "Anything to please you, Mr. Lewis." I devour his mouth passionately as my hands caress his arms, my hips gyrating and rubbing my wetness against his arousal. Panting heavily, my lips trail against his neck. I suck his nipples and mischievously nibble. Derek lets out another groan when I wrap my hands around his cock, peppering kisses against his hard pecs. Slowly, I move to lick the tip of his member like a lollipop. I tease his length with my tongue, making swirling movements when I reach the rounded head. His masculine scent drowns my senses, waking my carnal desires, my pussy growing wetter. Derek grabs my ass with his hands and nimbly shifts us so that I'm under him. His magnetic gray eyes seem to suck my soul dry as he stares deeply into me. I gulp hard when he parts my legs to make room for himself, but to my surprise, he lowers his head and starts licking my mouth, neck, abdomen and my wetness. I shriek when his tongue traces the length of my center. My cheeks are hot, realizing that he's tasting my honey. I feel inhibited, but the pleasure makes me arch my back, my fingers combing through his hair. "Ah, that feels so good," I moan impatiently, my rationality leaving me as carnal desire takes control. I pull his head closer when he slips his tongue inside and makes swirling motions. Derek abandons my throbbing lady parts, kissing upward along my body. When he reaches my neck, he plunges in, filling me with his length, leaving me breathless as he slides in and out. My muscles tighten around him as he moves, slowly at first. When he picks up pace, cries of pleasure methodically escape my mouth. "Yes." "Oh, sheet," I exclaim as beads of sweat trickle down my chest. Encouraged, Derek cups my breasts with his hands and sucks them like a baby in need of milk. He pounds into me hard and fast, working me to the brink of insanity. "You like that, HMM?" he asks breathlessly. Not waiting for a response, he rocks, rotating his hips, and pushes his dick deeper and harder, reaching nerves that send me shuddering violently in pleasure. His movements are demanding. Instinctively, my hips move in rhythm with his, sending me to the edge of bliss. My walls quiver around him. "Oh, yes," I whimper, nearing my orgasm. The slapping sound of skin and the smell of carnal lust and sweat are driving me insane, like an addictive drug. Derek's mouth nestles and nibbles the crook of my neck as his thrusts grow heavier. I lock my legs around his waist for support, my back arched to meet the strokes of his cock inside me. He grunts as I moan, and we finally come. He seals my mouth with a deep kiss one more time, before collapsing his weight onto the space next to me, panting heavily. His expression is soft as he pulls me into his arms, pushing my damp and disheveled hair from my forehead. Derek holds me in his embrace for a few minutes until our breathing relaxes, and my eyes grow heavy. "Take a shower. I'll change your sheets," he whispers softly. His soft kisses snap me awake. Nodding obediently, I get up and sluggishly meander across the room, but my attention refocuses when I step on a bulging object. I look down to find it underneath the man's coat that fell on the floor when he was getting undressed. I pick it up suspiciously and find a black velvet box inside the pocket. My heart skips a beat when I crack it open, exposing a ring. It is a well-crafted round pink diamond that's seated between two smaller princess-cut clear ones on a platinum band. that looks antique. There is an engraved initial under it too. Without a doubt this is an heirloom. Derek, I call out. The man is cluelessly opening cabinets searching for extra sheets. Were you planning to propose at the banquet tonight? I watch his back freeze in the middle of closing the drawers at the bottom of my wardrobe. Stifling a laugh, I click my tongue and stomp on the carpeted floor. Oh my, that would have been such a sight to see. Mr. Lewis, down on one knee. He turns around, wearing his signature stern look, illuminated by the dim wall sconces. Shut up. He scratches the back of his head awkwardly as he avoids my gaze. I cackle, finding his expression quite cute. I wiggle my brows, stepping closer to him. Then, I point my finger at his bare chest, and look into his eyes intently. It's all right. I'll give you the right to own me for life, I tease. Pivoting, he cocks a brow and snatches the ring from my hands. Swiftly, he slips it onto my ring finger, sending a flood of emotions through me. I'm shocked and excited at the same time. All this time, I never doubted his feelings for me, but from time to time, I've questioned where it might take us in the future if such a thing could exist for us. He snorts. Not enough. I wince and stick out my lower lip. How demanding. More. Now and forever. More. This time, I throw up a scowl, feeling annoyed. Why does nothing seem to be enough for this man? Aren't you supposed to be the one giving the talk, here? He sighs and his expression softens as his mouth curls into a grin. His gray eyes glimmer with amusement as he pinches the tip of my nose. Then, he holds my shoulders, gazing at me admiringly. The affection in his eyes is blatantly evident. He kisses my forehead, easing my crumpled face. I swear to protect you, he whispers, to cherish you. His mouth grazes my nose. And to love you with all of my heart. He kisses each of my cheeks, body and soul for all eternity. His words are simple, but like a song to my ears, calming the storm brewing. In my heart, my eyes well with tears. When his mouth finally lands on mine, my vision is blurry as I respond to his tender gesture. I have never felt this happy in my whole life. Marry me, Natalie Quinn, he mumbles hoarsely against my lips. I giggle. Is that an order? He shakes his head, and then smirks playfully. Nope, but you can't say no either. This engagement is long overdue. After all, our grandfathers arranged it while you were still an infant. You're joking, I shriek, pulling away. Mouth agape, I look at him in disbelief with my palms against my cheeks. Blinking frantically, I watch him burst into laughter, his muscles relaxed and his face jubilant. You heard that right. I'm just claiming my bride. Seriously, he hums, pulling me back into his arms. In that case, take me away by all means, mister. Chuckling, I nestle into his chest, and listen to the rhythmic sound of his heartbeat, proving this is real. My heart swells with happiness and fulfillment, and a tear escapes my eyes, unable to contain my joy. All along, we were destined to be together, but regardless of the arranged marriage, deep inside, I have always known I'd end up with him. It might have taken some time, but the end game always would have been the same. He was worth the wait.